soul. We watch it fall. Now you come to walk on. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind.
You can turn my world upside down, a rush like I've not felt before. I can trust myself. I need you to make it turn. I would know. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't wait on romance. We'll never be the same again. I could keep the light from turning into darkness. You'd be my escape. What have we been told? Is it true or false? The truth might seem average, but we're getting close. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't wait on romance. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Anime We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Happy Monday to all of you lovely people out there. We have a big old stacked week when it comes to the old wrestling, mainly just in the WWE realm. You know, not only do we have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, but of course we have the good old WrestlePalooza this weekend. So got a lot of go-home shows coming our way and all that. And we're going to sit here, talk to you guys about the Monday night edition of WWE's programming. We had Monday Night Raw hailing from Springfield, Massachusetts. So great crowd tonight. I thought, definitely came alive in a lot of parts that they needed to and everything. Can't wait to break down the show a little bit. A lot of good things happen. Some things that didn't really move forward too much, but hey, we'll get into those when we get to them. But as always, welcome to our returning listeners, our returning viewers. Love to see you all here. Be sure to take your seats wherever you decided to place them in this assigned seating hall that is the Weebs of the Ring podcast station. But of course, if you're new around these parts, grab your tickets and make sure you find your seat and get introduced to the team here. Of course, as always, I am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins here, helping you guide through the wrestling event tonight, and hopefully taking a little bit of liberties with some fun things to talk about going forward. But of course, I have two lovely gentlemen here right above me to help me, get through the evening and talk about the wrestling. First and foremost, to my right, we have the self-proclaimed visionary. Some may call him a revolutionary as well, but many people often know him as Bill Goldberg's #1 stan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Legend D Vash. Vash, how you doing tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, it's your boy, the Human Typhoon, Legendary Vash, and it's great to be here as your visionary, not the Goldberg lover like he says he is, but it's great to be here because, one, your boy missed literally a good 5 minutes, thank God, because of the recap that they do from the previously last episode of Raw, that I forgot, literally at 6 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock today, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock hit, and I totally forgot. My wife reminded me at 7:05, she was like, babe, it's Raw time. Oh shit, you're right. The TV was on. I was ready to cast. I'm like, shit. It literally left my head chat. Honestly, it's interesting to talk about Raw from a 7 o'clock to almost a 10 o'clock showing. So I can't wait for us to break it down as us as fans, critics that we've been growing up with Raw from the 9 o'clock to 11, the 8 to 10, the 8 to 11, all these years. Now we have a 7 to 10 o'clock showing. So I will also love to pass it to Jonathan's Box. How did you feel about this as well, of a 3-hour showing?
I thought it was nice to have the show start at an earlier time because, for one, we could digest it early, gives us more free time later before we end our night and go to sleep. And I personally don't mind it. I feel like if the routine works out, they can go along with it. They can continue it moving forward because, there's always going to be competition in the works in terms of ratings. So if this is their way of working around it, that might be the best way to do it. But this episode of Raw tonight, I enjoyed bits and pieces of it. There was some things I didn't necessarily care for, which I will share my piece on that. But other than that, though, I feel like I'm more focused on WrestlePalooza, NXT tomorrow, SmackDown, trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to watch WrestlePalooza, so I have all week to figure that out when it comes to the whole ESPN thing, because things are a little tight right now, so we'll see exactly how we could get around there. But yeah.
I'm sure they're probably going to be doing some free trials or something for ESPN at least. Yeah. So you could always probably research some of that, see if there's some of that going on. Yeah, and plus, like I think some packages, like I think the Disney package, like if you have ESPN through Disney, it counts or something.
Yeah,
Um,
we should have it through
but
Xfinity, so it should be fine. I just didn't have the
yeah,
time to go through it because the TV lags, and I just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I believe Joe was speaking about it during commentary, and he did say like the process, like, hey, just go to the ESPN app, and if you're in the US and if you're in the Netflix internationally, for anybody, you know, there's a good time to like Stephanie McMahon say in her sponsor of the VPN, use a
Mhm.
VPN and you can watch it through Netflix internationally. Because like I just did a quick search, ESPN Unlimited. There's some type of packages to watch through
Right.
like versus Palooza, and you can access ESPN through a subscription, like also a Disney Plus
Okay.
packages since it's owned by Disney. Because there's packages with Hulu as well. So
hmm
there's ways to find it. Go to the high seas or get a VPN where you're just a regular
Yeah.
person like us that we use a VPN out here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I mean, not to talk shop more and all that, but I'm pretty sure you could get like you can hook up your VPN to your home network. I need
Yeah.
to figure that out personally because I would love to watch SmackDown on the TV instead of my
Yes,
tablet.
me too.
But
I
you
was
know,
telling the
that's
wife as well. I think it's you have to go to the settings with the
I think
provider and
so.
everything of the TV. So if you
Yeah.
have a smart TV, just go to settings. I just haven't actually taken the time to actually do so. So I can relate
Smart
to that.
TV.
So I can
Smart
relate to
TV.
where it is that. But
Yeah.
however, I do say that I agree with Drop that if this is a successful Raw at 7 p.m. EST for them to do in the future, I'm okay with this. It's just gonna be hard to get accustomed to, and also like,
Mhm.
hey, instead of being ready, you know, by 7 to watch Raw at 8, now I gotta be ready by 6 or like 6:30, so I can make sure I'm ready to, you know, watch, you know, before anything that I gotta do cooking
Right.
or prepping. So those are things that I gotta do, you know, mentally. But then as a content creator, just be sure to watch what I need to do and then, you know, get back on time, you know, meet with my team, and we, you know, do our show Weebs of the Ring.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean we could spend all evening talking about how we're gonna watch everything and all that. Hell, maybe that could be an episode of something. I don't know. Who knows? We'll come to that road when we cross it. But of course, as always, people, if you're here in the live stream, in the live chat, be sure to let us know what your thoughts are throughout the show and all that. We might read them on stream live for you. Who knows? But of course, if you're listening to the audio feed or the VOD on YouTube afterwards, hey, leave a comment, leave a like, do all that stuff. So that way we know, hey, you guys are being entertained because as always, one like equals one treat for Sydney and Buddy and Brownie. So all these pups deserve their treats. Give us the like so they can get their treats. But let's get right into the action, right into Monday Night Raw. So our first segment, it's basically just all the stuff that's going on with the Vision right now. We're going to focus on the Vision and mainly two parts that come with this. So we had, of course, Bron dealing with Jimmy and the Usos and all that, and LA Knight. And of course, we had our face off between Seth, Becky, AJ Lee, and CM Punk. We're going to start off with this face off here because this was something that was very much anticipated for WrestlePalooza. And yeah, so both sets of teams are out in the ring. We had a very long introduction from Seth and Becky, just kind of really playing upon their heel characters of, oh, I'm better than you and you need to know it. Sorry, gimmick infringement, MJF. I had to do it. But of course, Punk and AJ Lee interrupt. They throw some jabs towards Seth and Becky's wardrobe. And of course, Becky has some retorts coming back saying that AJ Lee's a liability, saying, hey, I read your book. How's that neck of yours? Like, just easy jabs and all that. Like, I think one thing about this segment is they did try to get a little raunchy with AJ Lee being like, oh, I'm sorry about your constipated face, Becky. Like things like that. I thought that was kind of funny. But of course, it does get a little serious with Seth bringing it down, being like, hey, you know what? I may not be able to predict you, AJ Lee, but I can predict your husband. And if things let him down, he will leave. And he teases, oh, he could leave you if we win. And if you lose, blah, blah, blah. Eats a smack to the face. And we think like him and Becky are about to have this huge crash out argument in the ring. But of course, that's just a ruse to play upon their whole vision, their whole architect kind of moniker going on. It's all just to get CM Punk and AJ Lee to lower their guard so they can attack them. Becky hits AJ with a manhandle slam and just slaps Punk a little bit more. They're standing tall. CM Punk's pissed off. I thought the segment was fun. I thought it was good to just kind of keep poking that bear, keep twisting those wounds again. But guys, I want to hear from you guys about this segment. Vash, I want to hear from you first. What did you think of the segment? Some of the jabs we got, some of the notes we got from here. Yeah, what did you think of this segment?
I want to say, I just love how our girl Becky always uses a line. I'm the best wrestler out there. Like, nobody says that. Nobody says that. That's what Jelly saying. And Becky's like, Sports Illustrated has said it. Sports Illustrated. And I love how like I say. And Seth also said it, like, Seth, me too. I tell her that. I'm like, but you don't count. You're the husband. So I just love how, like, I know the kayfabe in me, in my head, just wonders. I just want to be a fly in the wall. I just wonder the conversation in the gorilla position, just seeing these four actually be friends, or for a moment, just talking or gathering their conversation on how they're gonna handle the promo during the segment. And I could just imagine all four of them just being happy, like, because these are two men and women of couple just being against each other, and they're probably having a blast at work, just putting each other down and putting each other over just to get the job done. So like that was just me having a smile on my face just to see AJ, how even Becky was breaking fourth wall, saying, yo, Becky, say, yo, AJ, I didn't even know you was gonna come. He didn't even know you was gonna come. They didn't know he was gonna come. It's been 10 years. Nobody expected he was gonna actually come back. So yeah, I may have hit him, I may have instigated, but I just didn't expect my actions would have caused you to actually come back. So I just love how she broke for to like, look, we just didn't expect this was going to be the turn of events. So I really appreciate that as the joke and humor, but just also to know the conversation possibility involving around that. So it was good humor around that. And I love how Seth just hyping up his woman, introducing her, speaking very highly of her. Like, I just know that we have heard in interviews from Becky and others that Seth/Kobe is such a wife guy. Like, he such supports his wife. He's such a husband person and everything. So just to see that on screen, how he is hyping up, that was probably story, but that was also probably Seth being real, talking and hype up his wife. So those cool things as a healthy relationship here, and just seeing that, and how I love Seth's character. I call myself the Visioner. Just cool little moments of the character I see about Seth Rollins was really hyping me up. And just to see Seth and CM Punk, Seth saying, you know what, I gotta thank you, CM Punk. For a second, I thought, like, where's this going? So I was having a good time with it. Like, those are my overall thoughts in a good, happy setting of experiencing the content I was watching.
Okay. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to kind of watch that, and especially with Seth kind of playing upon like that whole aspect of, oh, I know what your husband's gonna do, I know what he's gonna do, but guess what, I have backup against you. I don't know, it was a lot of fun, but it was a segment that we really needed, just with both teams coming just together and all that. But lay it on us. What do you think of this segment?
So this probably was one of the things I was looking forward to on the show, because like I said earlier, there was bits and pieces that I really cared for when it came to this show, which is probably a given with a lot of these wrestling shows. You typically watch for certain people. You're not really there for everybody that's a part of the program. But this was one of the things I was looking forward to, because I was really curious to see what the next step was going to be with this feud. And we never really saw all four of them in the ring actually having like a proper promo segment. So I was very curious to see where this was going to lead to. And I do agree, it was quite a long introduction for Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, which I get they say their thing and again, but after a while, it can be a little bit annoying. Keep repeating the same phrases all the time. I get it, they're heels and everything, but it's like, we get it. I mean, if you want to come out there and wear a shirt with whatever you're gonna say there, just wear the shirt and everything. But it kind of got to me because like I kind of get tired of hearing it all the time, but it didn't take away from like my overall enjoyment of the segment. And then when you had AJ Lee and Punk come out, and I remember before we started the show, you saw them have a nice little logo together. That was really nice. But I also just really wanted to see how they would work alongside one another. And I like how, they were both taking jabs at each other. They're both saying certain things. You had the thing with AJ saying to Becky that, she's pretty unpredictable. You don't really know what she's going to really do. She said the same thing to Seth, which is true. I mean, if you've seen how she was before in the past, given the kind of actions that she made herself, I mean, you don't really know what she's going to do in this match. You don't really know what kind of tricks she has up her sleeves. That's the thing, because at least with like CM Punk, Seth knows him quite a bit, so he probably can read him a little more. But when it comes to AJ Lee, who has been in the business for over 10 years now, you don't really know what she's going to do to a Seth. You don't really know what she's going to do with a Becky. So it could be, a lot of things that they could throw at them that could be very unpredictable, which honestly makes the match more interesting given, the kind of things that they could really do here, which I'm hoping they deliver with this, because I am looking forward to seeing what the next step is going to be once we get to the match itself. And I also like how you had that little thing towards the end with like Seth and Becky talking about, how Seth has somebody out there to help him, and then Becky left, which at first I did personally believe it was her leaving. Like she was actually frustrated with him for a little bit. And then the other two was going to get the edge, but then it ended up being a ruse, and they ended up just wanting to, get CM Punk out of the way so she can go in there, deliver a manhandle slam to AJ, so she was able to leave her mark, which she actually sold that pretty well, by the way. More than most women that take that move. I definitely would have to say that. So it definitely shows that she's a veteran in the game. She knows how to take certain moves and everything. And yeah, you got Punk looking frustrated. His blood was boiling. I mean, I can definitely feel his frustration there, because I feel like any person, if they were in that situation, or their wife or husband was in that predicament, they probably would be pretty upset too. So I definitely understand the frustration there. But I thought they did a good job here with what they did when it came to, getting those last few things there for their feud, because this is the most I've been invested with the Vision. Obviously, like we talked about, we had another part of the Vision that we focused on, but like I stated last week, this part of the Vision, it's more interesting, because at least there's a couple new things thrown in there. It's not always the same thing that we see every single week. Like, it actually feels fresh. It actually feels like we're taking in something new. So that's probably something I really do enjoy about it. But those are basically like my thoughts on the segment itself. I mean, I'm just ready for the match at this point, really.
Yeah, out of the whole match card, I think this is the one I'm most interested in, and most curious about how it's gonna go down. And because I'm gonna pose this question to you guys, because I mean, we all know how the wrestling, especially WWE, is right now when it comes to certain match types and all that. But I'm gonna pose the question because like a lot of this story is kind of built upon this. Do you guys think we are going to get an intergender moment in there where it's like, I mean, obviously, I mean, even though CM Punk says, oh, he'll never put his hands on a woman, I could really see like AJ Lee being like, hey, here's Becky GTS, and then I'll cover her and all that. Or it could be something like that. Or Seth just randomly hits a stomp on AJ Lee and takes her out for a bit. Like, could you guys see this happening on Saturday? And that's just open. Whoever wants to answer first, go ahead.
I feel like it's definitely possible. I mean, the main thing that comes up when you bring that up is probably I could see Seth Rollins getting put into a Black Widow. That's something I could potentially see happening. I'm not entirely sure about like either Punk or Seth himself, like Punk going after Becky or Seth going after AJ, but like the only thing that really comes to mind is like him getting put into a Black Widow, because he kept calling her a little girl. He kept toying with her the entire time, almost looking at her like it's kind of like one of those things where you see where you don't really know the person, you just keep pushing them around and then they eventually find out what they're dealing with. That's essentially what he was doing with AJ in this segment, so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, because coming out of all people that are involved in this match, she is the one that I could see, you know, making decisions like that, because she's clearly not afraid of anything.
Yeah. Before I say my response, I guess Vash, go ahead. What any comments on just a spot like that happening on Saturday?
Oh, what I see happening is that it's a possibility from this promo we saw with Seth Rollins and with Becky Lynch, calling out AJ is still crazy, or she will be on edge. So I feel like, to support what Job said, that I think that's something AJ would do and take command and be like, hey, we gotta go crazy, we gotta be crazy. And CM Punk is willing to be the person to give the spotlight to AJ, as he said in character, that, hey, I'm okay to not have Coda personality take the stage. I'm okay to put it on the shelf and light it up to be the song. And he was pointed out like he's okay that I don't take the charge. My wife is crazy enough and strong enough to take the charge.
Yeah. I can kind of see both things happening. I could see like during the match, AJ, I could see AJ being the one to put her finisher on Seth for a bit. So I could definitely see that happen. But at the end of the match, I could see Seth going in there with a stomp, just to kind of, because I feel like that would be like a big heel move for him going forward, especially with him and Punk's feud going on right now. Because that's the thing, like, right now, just kind of centered around the title and all that. And like, yeah, there is still some personal stuff going on with it, but to really like elevate it to another level, I could see Seth at the end somehow getting a way to hit a stomp on AJ and just furthering the feud even further, making it even more just kind of visceral than. I mean, they even mentioned the Drew feud from last year about the bracelet and all that. Well, how do you elevate the feud that is very similar to last year's? How do you elevate that? Well, let's quote unquote take out his actual wife and all that. And because that's the thing, Seth right now, he's still getting cheered a lot, which he's Seth freaking Rollins. Of course he's going to get cheered and all that. But to really solidify this heel character, I think he needs to do something very dastardly like that. And in a way, it's kind of reminiscent to what happened in the last time him and Becky were involved in a very similar situation back in 2018, 2017?
I don't remember. I know what you're referring to, though.
Yeah, with like Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans when that feud was going on, and Becky ate a good old end of days for her troubles and all that. So I could definitely see something happening similar to that, but just because I think Seth just needs just that little extra bit to really get that heel heat on him. Which I mean, he already has. If you heard the crowd tonight, I mean, they were berating him, and him and Becky were like playing into that very well, I thought. But other than the match itself and all that, we'll talk more about like the whole build, like the overall build, when we do our prediction show on Thursday. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. We'll talk about the whole build and all that, including more about this segment after we let it all just simmer and process and all that. So let's move on to the rest of what the Vision had today, or at least tonight, because I think this has a little bit more meat to the bones. And the funny thing is, it's not the Vision that has the meat going on. It's the Usos that have the meat. So, of course, we get our typical main event match of a tag team variety with the Brons taking on LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. How did we get there, folks? Well, here's what happened. So, start of the night, we have LA and Jay kind of getting into an altercation. Adam Pearce is just like, Yuku, my office right now, like he's some principal at a high school, which, I mean, knowing the WWE backstage, that's pretty much what it is. It's basically like your problematic high school and all that. So they're back there in his office, and LA Knight, he's pissed at Jay. Jay's pissed at him, blah, 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 whatever. But all LA Knight wants is Bron. And Adam Pearce will give him the two. He just needs to find a tag team partner. And he chooses Jimmy at first. Now, interesting choice right there with Jimmy, because that's just drawing that line between the Usos even more, which we get in like a backstage segment with Jay acting more like a boss and all that. And even into the match itself, like even after the match, when Jay comes up for the save to help with the post-match beatdown, he eats a BFT for his troubles, get that receipt right there, buddy. But there's still like this divide growing between Jay and Jimmy, mainly from that backstage segment of Jay basically saying, hey, Jimmy, don't team with LA Knight. If he comes to you and say, hey, let's team up, say no. And Jimmy's like, wait, hold on. I don't see an Ulafalo around your neck. You're no tribal chief right now. You're not my boss. Like, oh man, he is like, they're very much leaning in towards Jay, like trying to be this like leader kind of character. But like I like how Corey Graves mentioned it on commentary, and it's something we've talked about on this show, where Jay, he's tasted that glory, he's tasted that world heavyweight title, he's tasted what it's like to be on top of the mountain, and now that he doesn't have it, he craves it. Again, it's like a drug. He needs that high. He wants to chase that. He's going to keep chasing that dragon until he gets it. And he's going to destroy everything around him in order to get to that. And it sucks when that happens to somebody, but, it happens. So, Drop, I'm going to start you off with all of this, because like this is basically a whole big segment. Like the match itself was fine with the tag team variety, but stop me if you've heard this one before, folks. If you've seen a main event like this on WWE programming, you've seen them all. It's just your regular old main event tag team match. Cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. But what do you think about everything just like going on with the Usos right now, mainly with like Jay and Jimmy and LA Knight kind of putting that wedge between them going into this match on Saturday?
I feel like you said, that was probably the more interesting thing coming out of this, because I mean, I even said it to my family when we were watching the match itself. It's literally the same main event every week. It's just swapping around characters. It's almost like if you're playing Smash or Friends, you're always using the same characters. You don't switch it up a little bit to try to make it a little bit different or whatever. But it's like, that whole thing going on with the Usos is interesting, because this is something that's been foreshadowed for a couple years now, ever since, Jimmy came back that one time and wanted to stop Jay from getting to a title to begin with, because he knew in the back of his head that Jay was going to make a decision like this, where he was going to go out of his way and just get very like selfish and wanting to do things the way that he wants to do them, and if they're not done accordingly, then he's going to be getting upset, because we never really see this side of Jay. He's usually like happy going, he usually just goes the groove with everything that's currently going on. But ever since Roman had that conversation with him, he really took it to heart, and he's really changing his look on a lot of things, which maybe is a good thing for some people, because a lot of people wanted a serious Jay. A lot of people wanted to have him like take him a little bit more seriously outside of like the Yeet concert every single time. Like, people actually wanted to see him have a bit of a backbone, actually able to stand up for himself and make decisions regardless how the other person feels. So maybe to some people this new change is different and they like it, and that's just the best thing about it. You don't really know what direction it's going to go. It could just be Jay making the decision at hand because him and LA Knight are not on good terms because of the common goal that they had, obviously, for the world title, and because they don't want this other person getting in the way. And obviously, because of what Jay did last week, he had to end up getting a receipt from LA Knight this week because of what happened. So it made a lot of sense. I honestly had a feeling when Jay came out that was going to happen, because it was pretty much choreographed how it was last week. But instead, the two characters are switched around, and it's actually LA Knight making the move this time. But it makes me question exactly, like, how are these two going to operate with one another during this match itself? Because when Roman was involved in tag matches, when either of the Usos were there, he was always calling the shots. He was always saying, okay, you tag me in to do this, or you do this certain spot, you do this certain move, whatever the case may be. It was always Roman making these different decisions. Is it going to be a similar situation where Jimmy's in there? Maybe he's starting to kick into gear and he's doing a lot of stuff. And then all of a sudden, Jay's like, oh, tag me in, let me do this, let me do that. But Jimmy's gaining a lot of momentum. He doesn't want to go back yet. He actually wants to be in the ring a little bit longer with Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, whoever's in the ring at the time. So it might come to a point where it's like they're both butting heads, and then they're not able to get on the same page, and you never know if either one of them is going to make a reckless decision, which more than likely would probably end up being Jay doing that. And that's going to be the interesting part about it, because people want to see like this crash out Jay just doing whatever he wants. But it's okay to be serious. It's okay to have a good head on your shoulders from time to time, but you also have to be aware of your surroundings. Your brother is here to help you with your situation at hand when it comes to these two other guys. So you can't just abuse that, because you never know what's going to happen. And I'm glad that Jimmy sticks up for himself. He doesn't just take the shit and everything. Obviously, he's been through a lot of stuff because of Roman, so he's learned from it. So it's like, I'm glad he at least, says something, which I expect if Jay tries to manipulate the match and tries to do this or that, which I definitely expect a moment in that match to happen where he's trying to call a shot, whatever, and then Jimmy's like, come on, dude, we got to work together in order to get the job done. That's the thing that's interesting. So it's like, when you're looking at what the other part of the division is doing, it's not necessarily the two other guys with the two Brons. It's mainly like who they're feuding with at the moment with the Usos, because you would expect them to want to gain that momentum, get on the same page, and possibly go after those tag titles again. How do we know they're going to get there if they can't work together now? Because, I mean, the way that he treated Jimmy tonight, you never know if that's going to make a reckless decision on Saturday, whenever these two go up against these other guys. And I don't expect LA Knight to get involved, because, again, LA Knight did what he did because of what happened last week. I probably would have done the same thing, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So it's like, I don't expect him to get involved with this, because it's not really about him now. It's more about the two brothers situation, which, again, is very interesting television. And I'm glad there's that thing on Raw that I can look forward to, where I can tune in and be like, oh, I want to see like how Jay is this week. Like, where's his mind at? What is he going to do next? How does Jimmy feel about it? So that's definitely my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think the other interesting thing too to kind of note with this, so, and I guess this is kind of why they went with this match. So, when you look back at SummerSlam, we had the Brons taking on Jay and Roman. So Jay was already working with somebody who was quote unquote on his level, and with Jimmy now, if/when they lose to the Brons this Saturday, you could always pull the card of like, oh, Jay's now kind of looking down on Jimmy more. Like Jay's now kind of putting Jimmy down more, and I could honestly hear the line of like Jay saying, hey, what have you done as a single star? Something similar to that line, like, oh, I mean, I won championships on my own. I won the IC title. I won the damn world heavyweight title. Like, what have you done? You're like the worst of the family. You're the bottom of the family. Even Solos won championships. What have you done? So like I could really see Jay kind of pulling that card, especially with Jimmy pulling the whole Roman card on Jay. Like I could really see Jay like pulling that down, and I don't know if this will give anybody PTSD from WrestleMania 40. This could lead to another match between the two. And maybe a better match between the two, if I'm being honest. But, that's...
I would hope so.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there with that. What's you, Vash? What do you think of this segment, or like these like long lines of segments from like LA Knight beating up Jay at the beginning, their little thing with Adam Pearce, the backstage argument with Jay and Jimmy, and even the match itself too. Like,
well, I could hold off on the match because I know we haven't really fully dived into the match and how it had the full results, but I could talk about the backstage. And I love Jimmy. You know why? Because Jimmy reminds me of me when it comes to my brother. Because you love your brother, but you don't want to keep up with the bullshit. Like, hey, I love what Jimmy said. I love that you're in charge, but why are you acting like you're in charge of me? I don't see no Ula fall around you. So what's up, bro? So I just love the attitude because, like, hey, don't get it twisted. Just because we're brothers, just because we're back on the same page, don't think that you could just do a Roman and try to act like him and think I'm gonna just snap my fingers like X and think I'm gonna listen to you. No, my G, it ain't about that. So I really like the attitude of Jimmy and Ellen Knight, man. This man is so smooth. The way he knows how to snap back, it's just the way he gives the body expression and the face expression when it comes to the Adam Pearce segment, when it comes to the conversation, when it comes like, hey, for a second, I don't know about you guys, but when Adam said, all right, who's your partner? I think it was like, you know what? Yo, Jay, you and me work together. I thought it was going to be something like that. Like, hey, you work together with Jay, but then you can walk out in the middle of the match and be like, you know what? I'm done with your bullshit. You could get beat up by the Brons, and it could work out for them in the long run for this coming weekend. So for me, I felt like that was something I expected, but I didn't expect for Jimmy to turn around and be like, you know what? You're still looking for a partner? Yeah, because, supposedly I put you in a tough spot. Like, word? All right, cool. I'm your partner now. I call it a day. So I was pretty cool. I like the outfit, the big gym, the one. So pretty cool gear for that. I did like the Brons, the vignette when it came to the video package talking about WrestlePalooza. I like how, not that we're going to talk about this in the news, because I know we might approach this coming this Thursday, but right on the back of my head watching Raw tonight, I also had the remarks / thoughts of Booker T when it came to storytelling in the ring. So I'm curious about how you guys, because I did see that a bit when it came to the actual match of the Brons with Jimmy and LA Knight. But when it came to the vignette, I really did enjoy that, seeing the hypeness. And also having them both talk is a nice refresher. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But it felt very nice for me to see this, because I remember Paul Heyman doing a bit of speaking, or it was Bron, and a few words there with Bronson Reed. But just having them to actually advocate for themselves and do a lot of the talking and getting themselves over within this approach, man, I was happy about it.
Yeah, like having them actually talk and all that is nice and everything. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit with like the LA Knight stuff you were talking about. So like, if he had chosen Jay, well, I wouldn't really. I kind of figured he was gonna ask Jimmy or for Jimmy just to kind of prove a point to Jay and just kind of stick it in them, because like that's the thing with LA Knight. He's not. Where he will, talk shit to your face and all that, he will also like kind of mess with you a little bit, like, and really just kind of be a troll a little bit in a way. And this is just one of those things where it's just like, all right, fine. If you don't want to play ball with me, fine. You keep wanting to get in my business, fine. I'll ask your brother for your help, because at least out of your whole family, your brother's somewhat cool. Like, I can tolerate him after everything that's happened and all that. And like LA Knight, LA Knight's really not that character that would walk out of a match like that, because that's the thing. He wanted the match with the Brons. He wanted to do anything he could to them tonight. And I mean, if that meant tagging with Jay, fine. But again, he chose Jimmy at the end of the day. So it's like, all right, I this is my way to actually get at them and all that. And I'm waiting for this whole thing of like the Brons being unleashed to actually be more of a thing, I guess. Cause like it hasn't really amounted to much, at least from recent memory. But I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm forgetting anything, but it's just like they keep saying, oh yeah, they're unleashed, but I'm not really seeing that. It's that whole thing we were talking about on Friday drop, where it was just like, I want to see this happen instead of having it be told to me that it's happening. Like, I want to see that they're uncaged, unhinged, and like off the leash. Don't just tell me, show me more. And I mean, tonight kind of ended how it was, and I think what kind of took me out too of it is it was during the closing shots when like LA Knight was starting to walk back to the back. You just see him on the ramp, but then you also see like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed like behind him, like in the distance, and I'm just sitting there like, why don't y'all go attack LA Knight right now? Like, even though you're licking your wounds, I mean, you say you're unleashed, you say you're like unbound and all that, like freaking be like Broly and go destroy that guy. Like, nobody's stopping you. You don't have Paragus with his little remote control necktie on you. Nah, go after him. Get him, murderize him, put him through the ring and all that, or put him through the barricade. I don't know. Do something. Make me actually believe your words that you are just uncaged, unhinged animal now, because all you're doing right now is just twitching everywhere. Like, nah, hit a strong move. Nah. And even LA Knight made fun of him for it. It's just like, dude, I don't know, man. It's just more of that thing of just like show me instead of tell me.
I do want to say that I love the crowd for tonight. The crowd was really hyping up LA Knight when he was coming out.
As I start twitching.
Everyone was going LA Knight, and he was like, LA Knight, yeah. LA Knight. Yeah, and then there was one that he went to the rope in the middle. He was just leaning all the way back, and he was like, and yeah, like it just felt just great seeing when the crowd's behind one of your favorite superstars, and when it's well deserved. It just seems like, yes,
yeah, yep. Oh man, but yeah, I think this match has a little bit more meat on the bones now when it comes to the Usos. I'm glad we're kind of going down this route. It's something I've wanted from Jay for a while, just kind of seeing that corruption, and in a way, like kind of retroactively making that moment of Jimmy costing Jay like a couple years ago at SummerSlam kind of have some merit to it.
Yeah.
Kind of retroactively again, like making that make more sense.
Yeah, because at first a lot of people were against it because they were like, okay, why is he here? Why is he doing it? Yeah, I was one of those people too, because I didn't quite understand it at the time, because it seems like it just came out of nowhere. But then after looking at it after a while and then looking at what's going on now, it sort of makes sense. And because of Jay's mental state right now when it comes to a lot of decisions she's making, because he always said no, he was going to become his own person. He was going to go down the same route as Roman, but I mean, look at what he's doing now. So that's the interesting part about it that really pops out.
And just with every passing week, he's showing more signs of being Roman and all that. It's just like, oh, come on, Jay, reel it in, buddy. But anything else we want to mention about like the Brons and the Usos, and even LA Knight too, I guess, going forward, like into WrestlePalooza this weekend?
Personally, I don't have any more thoughts. I think I shared my little prediction earlier, what I possibly could see, like what's
Mhm.
really gonna happen between the both of them during the match itself, like I shared earlier. So I'll probably just save the rest of my thoughts for Thursday. I don't want to like give away everything with the Raw
Right.
coverage, so I'll probably wait.
Okay. Anything from you, Vash? Anything you want to add or comment or slide into the conversation?
No, I don't have much. Like Drop said, we're here to give you a bit of the teaser information that we're going to tell you for Thursday, the full prediction, what could go. And probably by then we'll give you a bit more of the news, things that we'll be talking about once we find out how we'll be able to watch it. Also, if we might, give you guys more AEW coverage for that same day as well. So,
Yeah.
stay tuned for that Thursday. But I'm really curious to see how the continued relationship of the Usos will continue. And like Job said, like I'm one of the fans of LA Knight. I want him to succeed and I want him to be loved for the fans, and not love because he is not, but love where us fans get to see him get a W and get a title. Right now, we have like it's just weird as well seeing Seth coming out with the world title and seeing also Becky Lynch having the IC title. Like it just doesn't work with the correlation of the title. It like concept wise, yes, both title winners, yes, but they're not holding the same set, so it just doesn't feel like it's working there. So like if Seth lost the title back in LA Night, where people could have said that yes, he could have taken it, I don't feel like Seth would have lost anything as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could see that mindset and all that. So, all right, well, that basically takes care of not only basically our headline stories and all that, but like it's kind of where the world heavyweight title picture is headed or in right now. So we're gonna move right along to our mid card stories, and a lot of these, have some good conversation coming towards them. Some of these don't, and it might be a bunch of echoes that we had from this past Friday night if you caught our SmackDown coverage, and especially when we start with our beginning segment, the start of the whole show, mind you, because John Cena's here, making his final appearance in Springfield. Again, he thought he was on the set of The Simpsons, but he's not.
I was just
I
thinking
do
that.
like some of the
I was just thinking that when you said Springfield too.
Oh yeah. I love it. I do love we did get some references, like in the Penta match, there was a mention that Xavier said he was heading over to what's the name of the town? The rival town of Springfield. Shoot. Now I'm blanking on it.
I don't
Son
remember
of
off
a
my head.
biznacho. Shelbyville. He was like, I'm gonna go over to Shelbyville after all this. Just like, pulling out the Simpsons references. I love it. But sticking with John Cena here, he runs to the ring and basically cuts his big babyface promo saying how he played college football in this town, which I didn't really know that, but I guess that just comes with me not really researching too much about John's life. I do like, as a former offensive lineman, I appreciate him putting over the offensive line because, yes, we do go to practice and we do go to these games and get our ass kicked every single day and then come back the next day to do it all over again. But I love how he uses that as a transition to be like, it prepared me for WWE because that was like, he's in this space right now where everybody's just like either berating him or they're praising him, but there is a lot of that beratement and it can really bog you down no matter what you're doing. But he's just here to basically, cut this big old babyface promo. The usual, I feel bad saying this, but it feels good hearing it though. Just the good old fashioned John Cena promo about how he's pandering to the audience, which good on you. This is your final year. Do what you want. But he talks about how he's like afraid. He is afraid of Brock Lesnar, but he's not going to let him hit this final reign short. He's going to prove why he's the real champion, why he still calls himself the real champion, like giving reason to why that's still a thing in his intro as well. And like how much that intro means to him coming out every single night and all that. But he's not going to ever back down from a fight. He's never going to say no. He's not going to play backstage politics, which we'll talk about that later on, John. We'll
I
talk
love
about that later on. But yeah, I mean, just a really good, really solid Cena promo here about him and Brock Lesnar. I mean, I wish we could get something about Lesnar instead of just from the commentary about why he's doing this. But you know, commentary, I guess, just wants to harken on the thing about him ending the world champion early or the real champion early and all that. Yeah, but you know, if you want to hear me and Drop's thoughts on, you know, all on Brock's side of everything, hey, go check out Friday Night SmackDown's discussion on that, because that did nothing except for make us laugh with some ripped pants and my horrible guitar playing. But Vash, what do you think of John Cena's promo here?
Man, I love it. I love how John at this point don't give a fuck what he could say, because like at this point he already have 6 dates, so he's like, hey, whatever. Like, of course he has a limit of what he could say, but just knowing that he's at the closed doors, he could say backdoor politics. I don't know how you guys felt about this one, but I'm not sure if this was a reference towards Karen Cross. But when the crowd was saying fuck you, Brock," and then with Netflix he said, "Hey, they said talk to Brock," right? I'm not sure if that was a reference to when Triple H was with the crowd a couple months ago with SummerSlam, and the crowd was saying, bring back Karen Cross," and Triple H just kind of ignored that, just say, "Yeah, I want to talk to Brock Lesnar," is what you guys told me. So in my head, I'm like, I wish that's just the case. Like, that's my headcanon. Like, the way he just said it, just so nonchalant. The way John also was appreciated by Alicia Taylor, the way he did the announcement, just appreciating the small things. Like, hey, you know, at first I didn't know much about being the real last champion, but now I'm taking it to heart. It's appreciated. And I love how he just twisted to say, but man, I gotta fight this man, Brock Lesnar. Do I even want to? Am I scared of him? No, because I got this people behind me. If I'm like, John, just don't fight this man then. Just, I love how you feel like I don't need to. I'm like, yeah, you don't need to. Just fight somebody else again. Like, fight
but he
Dominic.
has to. He has to. He has to fight Brock. Brock is like the final curtain, the final boss for him, and all that. But yeah,
Seems like it, but it was a good promo. I really enjoyed this. It was a much better promo compared to the one on Friday, which you guys were discussing. It just felt this one felt more personal. It felt more nonchalant shade, but also felt nonchalant conversation of how he's very open to us, the audience, where he knows the audience is not stupid. He knows the internet is not stupid. He knows that he's in the known of what's going on and what's being discussed. So he likes to always do this, you know, breaking the fourth wall and seeing this conversation. So I'm here for
it. Perfect. Excellent. Fantastic. But what about you, Drop? What do you think of John Cena's big old babyface promo tonight?
I mean, I thought it was all right. I mean, again, the main thing that's really hurting this feud for me personally is that we don't really have a solid explanation as to why Brock attacked John Cena. And I'm not going to really say, oh, it's because they have history of one another and everything, because you could say that about a lot of feuds in WWE. I just kind of wish there was like more here with this. It almost feels like, okay, you know, this is a guy I had matches with. I'm here to do it one more time. And then after that, John's going to move on to something else, because, I mean, that's what it's looking like, because he's not really on a lot of like shows. He's mainly on a lot of PLEs moving forward when it comes to whoever comes after him next. So it's like, I thought it was all right. I mean, you know, nothing too crazy here. A typical promo. Not saying that John's in anything wrong here. I just feel like I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what's next with this, because I can't really lie in front of everybody and say that I'm really enjoying this feud between the both of them.
Well, yeah, that's just the thing. It's really just a stopgap for John. It's for him to have another big match and all that, and there's like the only build towards it is, hey, remember their history? Remember that? Well, Brock always attacks John when he goes back. He always tries to ruin his muffins and all that. It's like, why do we need Brock to ruin John Cena's muffins when other people can ruin John Cena's muffins? Some other people can put raisins in his muffins instead of chocolate chips. I don't know why they would put a damn raisin in there and say it's chocolate chip. You're a horrible person for doing that, and I want you to go to the deepest parts of hell by saying, oh yeah, that's a chocolate chip cookie when it's actually a freaking raisin cookie. But that's besides the point. Yeah, that's the thing about this feud. It's just like there's nothing to it other than just like the history to it. And it's just like, on one hand, yeah, that's fine. It's great. But like on the other hand, we've reached this moment in pro wrestling. And I mean, this kind of ties into like the Booker T statement from earlier. Like we're in a different age of pro wrestling right now where it's like things are kind of different right now. There's more aspect of like the athleticism and all that rather than the storytelling and everything. But like I think we are going to get something really good on Saturday. Despite thoughts about Lesnar being back and all that, I think we are going to get something pretty good, because like when Brock is in a feud or in a program of somebody that he likes to work with, he actually does try, especially in matches. Like he actually does give a shit when he's in those matches. But I'm just hoping we get work rate Brock, or at least worker Brock on Saturday, instead of the boring Brock that was running the Universal title into the ground back in like 2017 time. Yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. I mean, I don't even think Brock's gonna be on the show Friday, last I heard. Like, I know they're doing part 2 of that vignette that they aired last week.
Yeah, that's all really.
Yeah.
My only comment is, where's the Muffin Man? Because how do you go from muffins to cookies?
I mean, hey, look, when you have a muffin button, it's easy to get muffins. And if you know that reference, then I love you forever. But of course, speaking of love and all that, besides John Cena's love for the crowd and love to become a martyr for all of us, let's talk about a group that loves each other very much so, the Judgment Day, because they had a bunch of shenanigans going on tonight, from 2 matches to a backstage segment. Like we got a lot of stuff to go through, and even like one of the matches has like a side thing to even go with as well when it comes to just the overall Judgment Day vortex that is going around here. So let's start with probably one of the better matches, at least of the 2 that we're gonna dive into. We had Lyra Valkyria taking on Roxanne Perez. Now this was set up because last week Lyra had a match with Raquel Rodriguez, which she lost. And she has to now face Roxanne Perez to get some sort of vengeance back and kind of get her momentum moving forward again. So one thing I really liked about this match is Lyra selling her lower back, which again, tying back to those comments of Booker T, this is that in-ring storytelling that he was kind of mentioning there. And one thing that I know I've harped on a few times when it comes to professional wrestling, like this is one of those things where it's just like, yeah, she had a very physical match last week with Raquel. Her body should not really be at 100% because of that, because like especially that Tijuana bomb at the end, and when they showed the replay from last week, yeah, that thing was stiff. That move was solid that Lyra took. So yeah, her selling her lower back, good on you. But yeah, this was really good. I thought they had a good contest. These 2 obviously have some good in-ring chemistry and all that. Raquel is out there and she tries to interfere a little bit, but the ref shortly starts to kick her out of the match and all that. And Roxanne, she stays on top for most of it, but Lyra's just too damn good at her counters. She's able to hit the Nightwing on Roxanne, ends the match, but Raquel's still out there. They do a good old post-match beatdown, and out comes a returning Bayley to save the day. But it's not just any Bayley, everybody. Oh no, this Bayley is hugging people left and right and center, which is interesting because we haven't seen that side of Bailey in a few years. I think, God, it's
2019?
around then. It was around the pandemic era when she like got the Karen haircut and chopped the Bailey buddies in half with a damn hatchet. But drop. What do you think of this match, this segment? We'll talk about the post segment later on as well after all of this, because Lyra seemed very surprised that Bailey was out there to help her.
Yeah.
But drop. What did you think of all this?
I enjoyed the match because whenever Lyra comes out, whenever Roxanne comes out, I tend to enjoy their matches because they had a lot of good matches in NXT, not specifically with each other, but mainly talking about just seeing them on their own, having a variety of matches. And these two girls know each other very well because they also had a feud in NXT when Lyra was champion, because Roxanne eventually was the one to take it off of her at a Stand and Deliver. But I thought they worked very well here, so I definitely enjoyed seeing both of them going back and forth. They're both around similar size and somewhat, and I don't know, I just liked it. Like, if you've seen a Lyra Valkyria match, if you've seen a Roxanne Perez match, I mean, they're always pretty enjoyable. They have a long road ahead. I mean, this is just the beginning. You can only imagine, how much better they're gonna get in the next couple years or so. So I had fun with that. And then seeing Bailey come out, and obviously we'll talk about the post segment afterwards. I felt like, I can't say I necessarily predicted her to come out, but I felt like it made sense for her to come out because, like we spoke about last week, we can't keep doing all these vignettes all the time without there being like something that matters towards the end, like showing vignette after vignette. Like, you gotta show us exactly why this matters and what it's leading up to. And then, of course, we eventually saw that she came out there. She helped Lyra because Lyra ended up winning the match. And then, of course, Raquel and Roxanne were beating on her. Bailey came in. She was acting like Hugger Bailey, hugging everybody around the arena, even the commentators too. So I can't say I am intrigued to see where this goes, because I know even like other content creators that I look up to in this space are also intrigued to see where this new character direction of Bailey's gonna go.
Yeah, because I mean, from what it seems like, especially with the post-match segment where Lyra tries to go and thank Bailey for saving her, like, it seems like we are definitely doing like this kind of split personality kind of thing with Bailey, which she seems to be pulling off really well. I mean, now that we've finally got that like outside of the vignettes, I think Bailey is gonna be a character that can work really well with this kind of split personality where it's like, okay, well, there was the heel side of me that didn't give a crap about anybody, that called myself the role model and was like running everything on SmackDown and all that. I even ran a group and everything. And then there's the hugger side, which just loves to hug everybody around, loves to be loved and everything, and wants to help people and wants to just be there for everyone going on. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting way, or it's going to be an interesting kind of turn of events when it comes to Lyra and Bailey facing off again. And because I mean, again, tonight, like, it was heel Bailey, not hugger Bailey, that yelled at Lyra for just quote unquote barging into her locker room and all that. So I think the only other thing is I'm looking forward to seeing how this translates to in the ring.
Yeah.
So is it going to be one of those? Because like I think we got a hint of it tonight when Bailey had saved Lyra and taken out both of the Judgment Day members. And like she looked at Lyra, she kind of started going crazy a little bit, kind of like smacking her head or holding her head and all that, trying to like get those dark thoughts out of her system so that way she could be the hugger and do all that stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to how she translates that in the ring, because again, I thought the live version of this was pretty dang good. I think Bailey's got a good grasp on how she wants to take her character moving forward and everything. And especially when it comes to like a split personality kind of thing. And yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to it. But what of it? Oh wait, no, you already talked about it. And Vash is now, he must have gotten a call from The Rock and all that. So I think The Rock must be trying to lose 50 more pounds or something. But oh no, he's coming back. He's sitting. He's done planning. He's done plotting. He's done motivating his bronze. Yeah. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me. You're looking for the next Bill Goldberg. That's your vision, isn't it? Oh my God, that's his vision. Oh my gosh, that's what drop. We finally realized what what Vash's vision for everything is. He's trying to make Braun Breaker the next Bill Goldberg.
Oh boy.
I couldn't tell. Oh, he was frozen that whole time. That was funny as shit. He was frozen, and Vash, you were frozen on my screen like.
Oh yeah, and you too, guys. That's why I was just staring because I stared myself on YouTube where I was like closed mouth.
That's funny.
I was confused because I unmuted, but then on Discord it didn't unmute me yet. So I'm like, hold up. It's not just me lagging. Who's lagging? Don't know. But hi, chat. Welcome to live content where live technical difficulties happen on air. But I heard that transition. You was talking about Bill Goldberg, and you was talking about something else involving the Bron and being motivated. Correct?
Don't worry about that. What do you think of Lyra versus Roxanne Perez and Bailey's return?
So that match was honestly very solid. I really enjoyed the match between them two. I was gonna check how long that match was because at the top of my head, I felt like a good 10-minute match. But honestly, don't remember the top of my head.
Yeah,
So
it did have a commercial break in between, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was like almost 10 minutes or around that
actually,
time.
9 minutes 6 seconds.
Oh, well, 1 minute 54 seconds short of a whole 10 minutes.
Hey, that's
Damn.
actually great for the women division. They had a good match, and Lyra and Roxanne, I feel like they had good chemistry. I don't know how you guys felt about that, but I feel like they had good chemistry. In ring, they was there for a good while. There was actually a few close calls that I felt like it could have gone to either of the ladies. But also, Roxanne is owning this role right now. I just want to say congrats to Roxanne, like being with Judgment Day, learning in the main roster, traveling, doing this, and just her just walking down the ramp, like just owning this, just owning the attitude, just owning the role that she's in. It just reminds me like know your role, know your place. And she's doing it so well, like being with Raquel, who's been in the main roster for a couple of years after NXT, and just Roxanne, I just feel like it's killing it. So I just want to give what credit's due. So big shout out to her in that department. And to the match itself, to Lyra Valkyria is amazing. I love how she, during the commercial break, or I think during when she was doing her entrance, she was telling the crowd like the woo, like the whole scream. But I wonder, I'm glad that Lyra is on Raw because her woo of her scream of the Nightwing and everything kind of almost sounds very type of similar chant to Charlotte Flair. Woo! So it's just I'm happy that they're split, so there won't be no backstage politics with the champs. So I'm very happy about that. And when it evolves to Bailey being here, I love psycho chicks. If anybody watch anime, you have a bit of yandere character. So you have Bailey, but times 3, because now you have her hugging, but then also screaming and talking to herself within the room, and Lyra not knowing if she should knock or not, and then she didn't. I mean, well, she did knock, but she didn't wait for a response. And now she's being attacked. Like, why do you wait for a response? Why are you being rude as hell? So, like, did Lyra do the wrong thing or the right thing? It's hard to really point at the perspective because Bailey feels like she did it wrong. Lyra like, but you didn't really answer. You was talking to yourself, and I didn't really know how to handle the situation, Miss Bailey, because you're having a split type of percentage. And for anybody that have not watched the movie Split, go watch it. I haven't seen it myself, but I know it's very good though.
It is pretty good. I would recommend Split and all that. That movie was pretty good. So yeah, again, I'm very much curious how it's gonna translate to the in-ring product. And yeah, the story going forward with Bailey, very much intriguing. So I'm looking forward to seeing where all that goes. But guys, we're not done with the Judgment Day tonight. No, no, not at all. You thought we were going to move on from them. No, because somebody that is Judgment Day adjacent is good old El Grande Americano, because he's been helping Dominic Mysterio, especially in AAA after Dom won the Mega Championship there and has,
Congrats
gained
to
his...
him.
Yeah, so now we have Mega Dirty Ass Dom. He's got his Mega Stone and all that, which I wonder who his trainer is, because, he's no longer with Rhea and Liv is gone. I mean, is Roxanne the one that holds her little Mega Stone? I don't know. She might be. She might have like the little rings and all that.
That one actually got me. That one got me.
Yay. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Man, but yeah, so Grande Americano have we seen this match before? We've seen this match before between him and Dragon Lee, haven't we?
Yes, wait.
Yes.
But have we seen it by the correct Grande Americano, or has it been a different Grande Americano?
I'm gonna be
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean,
conversation.
I would say Kaiser and Dragon Lee, or aka Grande Americano, they have a good chemistry. They have a good chemistry in the ring. They had a good story, in the aspect. I want to say it was a good 10-minute match. Honestly, I thought the match would have been shorter, but was entertaining enough that it was solid in-ring work. That I was saying. Kaiser, I feel like he did a nice, what was it, a suplex, or it was some cool move. I just forgot what on no, it was Dragon Lee did the Dragon Lee did the stomper, which that was dope. But I feel like that's just so choreographed. But there was a move that Grande Americano did that I was very impressed by. But overall, the match was nice. I was laughing at the meme they did with the 3 Dragon Lees. I mean, the 3 Grande Americano.
Yeah. Well, like, that's the thing. So it's like, we had a pretty good match here. It was fast paced throughout most of it. This version of El Grande Americano, I think, is really good. What was it? There was a cutter move I think he did earlier on in the match, which looked really good. But of course, what heel would be a heel in WWE without any interference helping them win a match? Because not only did we get one El Grande Americano in the ring having the match, we had a second one just appear out of nowhere. So I'm assuming El Grande Americano knows what the Shadow Clone Jutsu is, which, how dare you? That is a forbidden jutsu. You're not supposed to know that thing, but that's neither here nor there when it comes to power levels and all that. So yeah, we got a second El Grande Americano out there. AJ Styles comes out to kind of pay Dragon Lee back again for helping him with this whole, or at least trying to help him out with this El Grande Americano stuff. But of course, after the second one's taken out, again, Shadow Clone Jutsu had happened, and there's a third El Grande Americano that just destroys AJ Styles, tries to interfere. That's enough to get the referee involved and distracted. The other El Grande Americano throws Dragon Lee off the top rope, and our main El Grande Americano puts on this submission hold, which I didn't catch the name of when commentary was talking about it, but it looked really cool. And yeah, Dragon Lee taps out, and El Grande Americano wins yet another match thanks to his other 2 El Grande Americano Shadow Clones. So, we heard from Vash here early on when it came to the match. Drop, what do you think of the match overall?
Thought the match was good because I mean, you got people that know how to wrestle, so that's always a good thing. It's nice to see Dragon Lee on TV. Hopefully he gets involved in more things, because I do miss seeing him on television. And it was a fast-paced match. I will say that, though, because there's definitely was a lot of things going on when it came to the other El Grande Americanos interfering. You had AJ Styles coming out, which I was wondering what was going on with him. Then I saw him in this match. I'm like, okay, there's AJ Styles part on Raw tonight. So, I thought this was good as a match. And I'm pretty sure it's not hard to tell who the other 2 guys are. I mean, it's clear as day. One of them's Pete Dunne just by looking at the mask itself. And then the other one is Tyler Bate. I'm just wondering, what the end goal is here, because I mean, I feel like our next segment is more of what I would want to talk about in terms of what JD McDonough brought up. Like, well, there's got to be a catch here with like all these shenanigans happening all the time. Like, is there something in return? So I'm just wondering. It's like you already got one of them. What are these other two guys here for too? Like, are they after championships? Is there something else in the mirror that we're not clearly seeing?
Yeah, because like that's the thing. Is it's like they're doing these things, but we're not getting the why of some of these things. Like, and that's really what WWE's been struggling with a lot of things lately, is the why for a lot of things. Like, for example, again, Brock Lesnar. Why is he doing this? Well, commentary is telling us why, but not the person himself. So, okay, fine. So, what about these old Grande Americanos? Like, why? First of all, why is he teaming up with Dom a little bit? Which, I mean, we kind of know why, but again, it would be nice to hear from the horse's mouth when it comes to that. But why are there these other two old Grande Americanos doing their thing? And the way they were acting at the end of the match, doing the Spider-Man meme point thing, it's like, okay, are they actually in cahoots with each other? Are they actually like together as a group? And if that's so, again, why? Like, I think that's just my biggest thing when it comes to old Grande Americano anymore. Why? Like, why are you doing these things? And again, like, it's obvious when it comes to the Dom thing, but it's just like them as a group as a whole. It's just like, why is that a thing? And especially for people like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, because do they really need to be in a stable with somebody that they also beat up to? I don't know. It's weird. I just want my why, so it's just done and over with, and I can understand just why this is becoming a group. But again, it all leads into this conversation of like, okay, well, why is El Grande Americano doing all this? And yeah, JD pointed that out while they're in the clubhouse celebrating Dom's win and all that, celebrating him becoming a double champion and everything. And I kind of like how Finn constantly is the one to like poke it. Oh yeah, he is very much salty. Like, he keeps poking Dom like, okay, why are we messing with these El Grande Americano characters? Like, why are you doing that? They're not part of Judgment Day. They're not our friends. They're not your friends, because there's something obviously that they want that they're not telling you yet, and you're just not getting it. And I'm just surprised that, like, I mean, part of me's not surprised that Dom's not listening to Finn, but it's funny because, like, you would think you would when Finn has kind of been around the block a little bit. Like, and even you growing up as a child within wrestling, you should also know that, hey, most of the time when you're a champion and somebody's helping you, they want a title shot. Like, you should automatically know that. Like, you should know that they want something from you. And it's all going to come downhill when Dom loses that title, because we did have Rusev come in there and be like, hey, you're next. Like, I will be the next IC champion. So, enjoy your little party, because, yeah, I'm coming for you. If Dom beats Rusev, I'm going to have many, 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 many questions. Even if it is through shenanigans, many, many, many questions will be had. But yeah, so I guess just like kind of an open discussion here with this the Clubhouse Hangout kind of deal. Like, what do you guys think of Finn's attitude towards all this? And just like, do you feel like he's more in the right than Dom is, or should Dom continue to go down this path with the El Grande Americanos and all that? So, Drop, I want to start with you with this, because I know you've been wanting to talk about this a little bit more when it comes to the overall Judgment Day from tonight. So go ahead and lay it on me.
Yeah, so I don't really blame Finn and JD McDonough bringing up these kinds of questions, because, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, if there is this guy helping me win matches or whatever, probably one of the responses in return would be like, okay, if I scratch your back, you'll scratch mine, and then I'll eventually get a title shot out of it. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. It's like, okay, you deal with this, and then I'll eventually schedule a match between me and you the next 2 weeks or so, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like there's like something else going on here. Because, I mean, why is like Dom sensitive about it? Like, if it was for a title shot, I feel like he might have brought it up already, but I feel like it's probably something more than that. Like, I don't know if it's like stuff going on behind the scenes to turn on the people that he's with right now, or whatever the case may be. Like, there's definitely something going on here, because you're not going to have all these things going on at once and then expect nothing out of it. Like, I wouldn't want to do that for somebody if they just wanted me to do all their dirty work, and then I'm just sitting there just doing whatever for the rest of my day, and then whenever they wanted to give me a call, you know, I'll just do whatever they wanted me to do, and I'll just go back to what I'm doing before. Like, there has to be, like, you know, something going on. And like the whole Rusev thing, I mean, just give him the title. Like, that title's meaningless. Like, it's just a prop for Dom. Like, that's my biggest gripe with the Judgment Day. Every time they have titles outside of Roxanne Raquel, because at least they did a little bit with it, they're just props for them to wear around. If it's like a backstage segment or a match or whatever the case may be, it's just a prop, because Dom rarely defends that title unless it's like AJ Styles when he was having a shot at it. It's just him walking around with it. I mean, why does it matter when he's the world champion in AAA now? I mean, to me, I would look at that IC title, even though that IC title has a lot of value, and be like, well, I'm a world champion in another company. Why do I need this? Why do I need this one? So it's like, give it to people that actually need it. And if that person happens to be Rusev, then I mean, hey, he's been here for a couple months now. Give him a shot at it. I would probably be in the same room as you in terms of asking a lot of questions about if Rusev were to lose to Dom. Like, well, how did we get there? What sort of shenanigans were pulled? Like, you would have to have the whole Judgment Day, like, hold Rusev down in order for Dom to get a pin over this guy, because there's no way in hell I see Rusev losing to Dominic Mysterio. Like, I'm sorry, it's just so hard to see. Like, he would just throw him around there like a rag doll. It's almost like you're throwing Dom against Samoa Joe in a ring. Do you really expect Samoa Joe to lose to Dom out of all people?
He better not. That's all I'm gonna say. Fucking better not. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you put up certain people against him, maybe he has a fair shot and everything, but it's like people like Rusev, it's like, okay, I'm glad to have that sort of mindset where it's like, maybe we need to start kicking things into gear with him. And there's only so many things he could do, because maybe it's running smoothly now, but you never know if this is gonna eventually lose what it has, and maybe he's gonna run into a bit of bad luck in the future. You can't get away with everything forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm glad you brought something up about like getting away with things, because I have a pet peeve right now, and I was thinking about this ever since Friday night when I saw like the clips from Worlds Collide going around from when Dom won the title, because we know these stars and the characters on the WWE television screens. We know they rewatch the show back and all that, like, because they do reference, hey, I saw what happened last week, blah blah blah, like things like that or whatever. You would think the refs would get wise enough to be like, oh wait, Dom just put the mask on. That means he put that steel plate in there. Hey, DQ, you're not getting any titles wins from that. Like, I don't understand why like cheating like that keeps, like, they keep getting away with it when it's so easy as a referee to be like, oh, especially the way Dom does it, when he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna slip this mask that I haven't been wearing all match, and then just win a match with a random flying headbutt out of nowhere. It's like, why is that a thing? I don't know, but that's more of just a pet peeve of mine, because like you want to say your world is lived in and everybody's like a character in it, but I don't know, just again nitpicks and all that. But like, yeah, I'm with Drop on this. I want an endpoint for the old Grande Americano stuff. I want to know where it's supposed to be going, and Rusev for the IC title with Dom defending. I have a feeling he's not going to end up having any help from it. And Rusev will win. And then once Rusev wins, El Grande Americano is not going to be fucking with Dom anymore because, hey, you don't have a title. I mean, technically he has the AAA title, but I mean, it's not the IC title or anything. So, whatever. But I mean, they could always, I guess, push the story towards the AAA title, but whatever. That's besides the point. So, yeah, I'm very much curious what's going to happen here. When it comes to the Judgment Day and all that. Hopefully they actually defend their tag titles, because
That'd be nice.
when I saw those titles, I was like, oh yeah, those exist.
We could
Me
take
too. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I forgot. Like,
Or we
oh
could
wait a
take-
minute.
Like,
Those are another prop, right? Drop. Those are another prop that they have that's not being useful, right?
Might as well just take it off of them, to be honest.
yeah.
I mean,
Give it to the
that's
Viking Raiders
honestly,
or
like,
War Raiders.
honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, there should be a rule where if you're not defending your titles for so long, there should be a thing where they take it off of you or something, like repercussions for it.
Mhm. Oh, see, well, like that's the thing. They never mention that rule unless it's a storyline thing to it, and even then, they barely get by with it. And it's just like, why can't we just have this be a thing? Just always make it a thing. Like, I swear, if Adam Pearce goes up to them next week and is all pissed off that, like, oh, you guys aren't defending and all that, blah blah blah. Dude, you're the booker. Yeah, I mean, in kayfabe, you're the general manager. You make the matches. Why are you not just putting them in matches, And like, because man, Raw's tag division is just so freaking in a horrible place right now, and this is basically a transition into this next match too, because like we have Penta taking on Kofi Kingston and all that, like. And that's the thing. On one hand, I don't mind when somebody in a tag team has a singles feud with somebody, because hey, you know what? You guys need something to do. Maybe pick on somebody in the singles division. That's fine. Both of you can kind of have singles matches. It could be fun that way and all that. Like, especially if the title picture is very busy and all that. But they're not doing jack shit with any of the Raw tag titles. At least the SmackDown tag titles have something of substance going on to them. But like, oh my gosh, so like you have this match with like Penta and Kofi Kingston, all right, and the whole story with this is, hey, they want to get the Mexican Destroyer banned, and they cost Penta a match last week with Rusev. I mean, the match itself that they had, it was fine. If it got more time and there was something of more substance here, it would be these two could cook and all that. But of course, it's just going to be a typical quick match and all that. You had Grayson Waller and Xavier Woods interfering, and that kind of led to the end of the match. At least we got a sick springboard Mexican Destroyer out of it. So
beautiful.
Yeah, I will.
That might be the only highlight of the match for me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. But I mean, but again, like, just with the whole tag team thing, it's just like, do something with them. Like, when's the last time the Creeds were on freaking TV? You remember their team? They're a freaking tag team. They're an amazing tag team.
Ring.
That's true. It's been a while. That's just
Yeah,
we haven't seen the Creed in a while.
Let's hope by winter they're not doing cuts again.
Oh my god, fucking don't remind me about that crap. But like, because like they are really good, but let's not have anybody good on TV, I guess, or let them be good or anything. Like, no, we'll just shove the same shit every single week to you and be like, oh, you like that, don't you? You like that? Which, don't get me wrong. Oh, Vash disappeared. Vash is gone. Vash is returned.
There you go.
He was taken out by a Mexican destroyer.
Yeah,
See, that's why the Mexican Destroyer needs to be banned in WWE. It took out the Visionary. It took out the Revolution. It took out our Seth Rollins. Oh my god!
Discord said, "Hey, we're having lags. We're gonna update. A little quick refresh."
Oh yeah, I had a big Discord update earlier, so I feel for you, buddy. I feel for you. But yeah, and then I mean, even after the match too, like not much happened with anybody like attacking Penta or anything. I mean, they attacked him later in the night, and they had the War Raiders going in because I mean they're the tag team that's going to be backing up Penta with all this, which fine, cool, but just better, not more, just better. Like we know you guys can write something good. We know you guys can make a good product. Just make a good damn product.
Yeah.
Like
hard.
It's not that hard. It's really not.
I don't understand like why it's so difficult to like come up with something different. Like I feel I kind of gave up on the whole New Day thing. I feel bad for Penta really, because like I don't really know what he's doing right now. Like he started off so hot this year and he was doing really good in the spring and even in the summer too, and now that we're entering the fall, it's like I don't really know what he's doing. Like he's just been feuding with the New Day the entire time, and there's literally like no direction for him. Like he's another one that should be inserted in that IC title picture. Like if I was him, I'd be like, you know what, I had enough of you guys. Maybe have like a triple threat with him, Rusev, and Dom or something. Like try to do something interesting, because I mean there's a lot more that you could do with Penta. Penta, out of all people, there's more you could do with this. The only thing I'm really waiting for with this whole Grayson Waller thing is whenever Austin Theory comes back and drops him on his ass. That's literally the only thing I'm looking forward to out of this, and that's not something I'm praying that happens every single week. He comes back whenever he comes back, but realistically, that's the only thing that's really going to make Grayson Waller interesting again, is whenever Austin Theory comes back, notices he's talking shit about him, and then it ends up turning to a feud, and then that helps to actually propel Austin Theory where he really needs to be.
Yeah. Oh man, it just... We want better, man. We just want better from the, especially with the taxi. Like again, I know I'm just harping on it. It's just like I see the potential in all the teams that you have, in all the talent that you have. It just, I don't understand why they just keep doing this, like which is basically nothing with these teams and these talents and all that. But whatever. I don't want to. You know what? Maybe that's a good discussion for a video or something, or along the line. So you know what, chat? Well, maybe something in the future. We'll one of us will get behind the camera and bitch and moan about it. But let's talk about now how we finally got our contract signing with Io and Stephanie Vaquer for Saturday. They're gonna have their world title match to decide the new women's world champion and all that. So finally put pen to paper, cross their T's, dotted their I's, all that wonderful fun stuff. So after that's done, Io and Stephanie, they're playing with each other a little bit in Adam Pearce's office, and in a good sportsman way kind of deal. And Asuka comes in, talking shit on Stephanie Vaquer, which the hockey clash between Stephanie and Asuka. Just chef's kiss right there. Just give me some of that aura farming right there.
Agreed.
But instead of getting Asuka and Stephanie tonight, we ended up getting Asuka and Kairi, which I thought was also a good match. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was too.
I think one thing that really impressed me was like just this mat-based combat that we had at the beginning of it. Like a lot of just holds, a lot of like quick pins and all that. Even like the referee even checking to make sure that the shoulders were down early on. I think it's a nice touch when they do that sometimes. Especially when they're like starting off with like this mat-based technical match and all that. And even Kairi, after some sequences and all that, was being a good sport towards Stephanie Vaquer, shaking her hand and all that. But Asuka, of course, yells at Kairi. Oh wait, excuse me, hold on. Kairi. Sorry, I had to be off screen for that one. Anyways, Asuka doesn't like sportsmanship, so she's like, "Hey, nah, you need to pick up the pace a little bit, up the ante a little bit." So that's when we get this competitive match right here, where it's just a lot more fast paced. We get both of them just like hitting these massive strikes. You know, we get that devil's kiss moment from Stephanie Vaquer after hitting like a big old double cross body onto Asuka and Kairi on the outside. And yeah, once Stephanie lands that finish of hers, it's over. It's done with. And even with Asuka trying to beat down well, she went back into the ring. You think she's going to beat down Stephanie Vaquer, but Io just runs down the ring, makes a beeline, just like, hey, no, I want to fight her evenly on my own terms. I don't need your help. Even bringing that discussion to the back where like Kairi's like, I think the highlight for me for all of this is Kairi Sane, because like with her reactions with everything, like after the match, she's like selling like she's dying and all that, but like, and then in Adam Pearce's office, she's like trying to square up with Stephanie Vaquer, like, but then of course Asuka's got to spoil everything, being like Kairi. But yeah, so basically Io saying, I need to do this on my own. You guys need to just go. If you're my friend, you will understand. I want to do this just like you did when you were in the WWE or like up on the card in WWE and all that. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff was really good, really well done, and all that. But the table's been set. Vash, what do you think of all this that went down between Io, between Stephanie Vaquer, between Kairi and Asuka, and of course Rhea Ripley coming by being like, "Hey, I'm next."
Man, this was a solid 12-minute match right here. It was 11 minutes, 57 seconds of Stephanie Vaquer and Kairi Sane. Very solid between the Dragon Screw by, I believe it was Stephanie Vaquer who did to Kairi Sane. It looked very well. She sold this. Her hamstring looked like a lot of pain. I'm like, oh damn, girl looks like she's knocked out. So that looks very believable. I 100% agree that Kairi Sane literally left this spot. The segment was the key of moment was by her acting, her selling of the spot, the pain, because even like I believe in the backstage after Io Sky and Oscar was having the conversation, and which I do have a tweet that was talking about it as well, which was thank you for the people that could do my the translation. Oscar in Japanese say, Io, what do you mean I want to make you champion? And I love how Yosuke was like, please listen, Asuka-san. As my friend, I hope you understand. I really need to do this by myself on Saturday. I'm winning on my own like you did. And Asuka saying, by yourself, can you do it? Damn it. Try doing it. Fine. Try doing it. You better win. And of course, like she left off screen. And Kairi was just, just falling and collapsing more. And Asuka just screams her name, Kairi! And Kairi's like, oh my God, I can't get up. I fell, but sure, I'm coming, my friend. You're calling my attention. Like, I just love the acting, the little cute moments. It just feels very wholesome between these two. And I think they're already aware of how this is starting to become a meme now and starting to become a gag, because I believe last week they tweet about it and made they tweet some TikTok or some clips about it. So they're already aware of how much they're doing and how much the comedy is working for them. So I'm glad they are aware of this. And I love how Io and Oscar are able to argue in their own language, and we can just get to see the extra information off air when fans, write it for us, do the correction. So us fans that are, that weren't able to understand it could see with the full context. So I appreciate as a fan that they can feel comfortable, go ham, go crazy, feel authentic, and then I don't mind waiting an hour off air until we can find the extra information. So that is awesome for me as a fan. The fight was amazing. Also seeing Stephanie Vaquer on screen, where some people put reports saying that hey, she's injured, that's why she wasn't able to do this. Look, guys, some dirt sheets, some certain ones could be just always wrong and could be talking out their ass. Just saying. But for that, drop. What else do you think about this?
So I am actually really looking forward to Saturday's match, of course, because it is a very unpredictable outcome. Because it could go either way, really. Stephanie could win the title, Io could win the title. Two good outcomes there in terms of world champions for Raw. So I honestly wouldn't be against whoever wins that match. So I'm glad they have the contract signing out of the way. I'm glad the match is in the books, even though it was already advertised. Still glad the match is in the books with the contract signing. And obviously we know Rhea Ripley is eventually going to get in the title picture again. Just depends exactly when that's going to be, which I kind of feel like since they teased that thing of her and Asuka, maybe they have to enter that territory first before they dive into that. But yet again, Io and Asuka are teasing a program here, so we don't really know what's going on with that. We're going to have to wait and see. But the match itself, I would say, is probably one of the best matches Kairi has looked. Because she doesn't always get matches, but when she does, it shows. Like when she had her match with Roxanne, it was really good a couple months ago. But I really appreciated seeing her go up against Stephanie because it was a competitive match. Kairi is always a good seller. Her reactions are probably the best things I see out of her whenever she's involved in promo segments or in ring. So I'm glad that her and Stephanie were actually able to have a match with one another. Give Stephanie a couple reps before she prepares for her big match on Saturday. And of course, we saw Asuka towards the end taking part in the match. Obviously, since Kairi lost, she wants to go up against Stephanie, cause a lot of drama there that would eventually evolve into a fight. And I'm glad that Io is putting her foot down, pretty much talking to her, saying, hey, listen, this is my match on Saturday for the world title. I can do this on my own. I can win this because, realistically, she can. Because what is Asuka really going to do outside of just being in Io's way and probably giving her the chance to potentially lose the match? Because with her being there, she could slip up, make the wrong move, tell Kairi to do something to really mess Io up here. We don't really need any interference here because this title is vacant. It's not like Io's champion. It's not like Stephanie's champion. I want to have a very competitive match. And when you get certain superstars involved in a match, like a Io, Stephanie Vaquer, you want them to take time and actually put on a good show. You don't want it to be ruined by a whole bunch of people popping in and hitting their finisher, and then the referee doesn't see it, and then the other one capitalizes and everything. Like, I want this to be a competitive match because we got a little sneak preview of it when she first appeared on Raw, which was after WrestleMania and everything. Now we're getting the full entree here, where we're actually giving them more time in a PLE. We don't have to worry about a Raw or SmackDown scripted show of how everything's lined up. It's just matches all the way down. So I'm hoping these ladies have some time to shine here. And again, even with the thing in the back of my head saying Asuka could potentially cost Io here, she did say, like Vash read, to go and win the match herself. So if I'm looking at it that way, and she has taken Io's word before and past segments where she wasn't involving herself into things and then getting mad when Rhea or who else was involved in certain things, I would honestly hope we get a fair match here where we don't have any interference, and then whatever happens afterwards, then we could start diving into that and seeing where that goes. But I still feel like it's 50-50 though.
It kind of is. I would agree with you there because, like, really anything can happen, and I mean we can dive into more of that on Thursday too, just with like the unpredictability factor of this match. But like, yeah, when it comes to like Io and Asuka, like, yeah, there's something there when it comes to their relationship right now, where it's like, okay, if Io does lose on her own, Asuka's basically proven right, and
Yeah.
she can get just even more toxic. And then instead of just hearing Kairi in the back, we'll be hearing yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So like it could be that too. And like I don't know if Io would fully
question.
submit like Kairi does, but yeah.
Do you think, guys, that we're gonna play long term, since Triple H likes to go long term booking, storytelling? Do you think we'll be getting a Io versus Asuka for WrestleMania? Coming this year. Depending on the long term story booking, how things could go if Io don't get this title, Stephanie Vaquer wins, and then maybe
Mhm.
Asuka gets it at the Royal Rumble, and then it's gonna be Io versus Asuka at WrestleMania. I'm just spitballing. So, you guys have any thoughts about that?
Depends. Well, I think one thing to kind of put a little pin on when it comes to the Rumble this coming year, that baby is in Saudi Arabia. So take that into account when you're making any bookings for even WrestleMania too, to a point. But especially with the Royal Rumble, like anything happening there, like
That's
definitely start thinking of that too. And because that's the thing, like if I were to get Asuka and Io at WrestleMania, I mean that would save my life for one thing. I'm gonna be honest, that's just that's money right there, at least for me. But I mean, again, I'm not WWE, so I don't really run their
Yeah.
money campaign and all that. But I mean, yeah, the end goal is gonna be Asuka versus Io
Yeah.
at some point. Even if we do get like the tag match with Rhea being involved, that could be a thing too. But like with the overall end goal is going to be the singles match between those two. When and where that happens, we'll have to wait and find out with that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe once we start getting like into November, maybe we can get a better feel of where things are heading. Just typically around
Mhm.
November, you start painting the picture when it comes to what they're planning for WrestleMania, because you got December and then you got January, which we are getting the Rumble in January, and then you start building things from there depending on which male or female wins their respective matches there, and then we could basically see from that point. So I mean, it's definitely not
Yeah.
impossible, because I mean, based on previous years, like a lot of the Japanese talent, especially when it comes to Io at the very top of the list, has been getting very
Mhm.
special treatment. She is not ignored at all.
No, and that's one thing I've liked, especially lately, that they've at least on the women's side, when it comes to like their more international talent. The men's side, I mean, that's also another discussion for a whole other day. But yeah, especially with the women's side, we're getting a good flavor of what the world has when it comes to wrestling talent and all that. So yeah, oh man, Asuka versus Io at Mania, like that's just that's a dream. That's a dream. I want to see that. I want to have that happen. But again, they got some work ahead of them. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, I mean, we'll move on now. We'll kind of finish off tonight. No quick fire segments tonight. Everything else was pretty straightforward, I thought. But yeah, just I mean, along with our final thoughts with everything. I mean, again, I thought this was a good Raw. I thought this was a good go home show for WrestlePalooza, or excuse me, as Cody says, WrestlePalooza, because that's a better way of saying it. But if anything, tonight made me more intrigued about Saturday. I'm very curious how some of these matches are going to be playing out, not just with their outcomes, but what happens just in the match themselves, like the Usos versus Bron. I'm curious how that match is gonna play out. The mixed tag match, wondering how that's gonna play out. Cody Drew, that's basically that. I mean, that's a Cody win right there, but that's besides the point with that. And of course, like the spectacle of John Cena and Brock Lesnar, yeah, build has been lackluster going into it, but again, when you use that history lesson that we keep getting on these SmackDowns, it at least helps like build it enough to be like, okay, you know what? I'm curious to see what happens there because I do have my theory about Suplex City returning, but we'll talk about more on that at a later date. But Vash, what did you think of Raw tonight overall?
It's your boy, Legendary Vash, and for me, this Raw episode was very solid. Was very entertaining, good fights, matches here and there. I would say when it comes to what we saw, like we had. I'll try to get the Roxanne and Valkyria. It was a solid 9-minute match. I wish it was a bit longer, but also I'm glad to see these two actually having their own. I'm not sure if they have a lot of matches back in NXT. I don't recall if they did, but just nice to see them on the main roster doing their thing. When it comes to Grande Americano, like we said earlier, what's the end goal? What's the story? We've been going along with this since April, I believe, since March, the earliest. So we're already almost at the end of the year with the storyline. Is there going to be an end results? Is there going to be something more when it comes to Dominic? Is this going to bite him in the ass? And Finn's going to be smarky and be like, "Hey, man, I told you so." Yeah, right. Live, but you don't listen to Finn. It's all about Live, but never about Finn. Where's my W's? Where is me hearing it? I am right. Stephanie Vaquer, glad that she was here. Glad that she wasn't actually injured that the dirt sheets, the reports gave, because it's actually great to hear actually do something and not having this be, hey, we can't have the match. Or, for example, our booking, our chief of content, Triple H, is supposed to come to work for Raw, but instead he's doing something else after 10 p.m. and, is out here promoting it. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do. If you're the chief of content, you got to be somewhere else. Hey, hopefully your wrestlers are also doing their job and not being pushed to the side and being catering. But also, Raw, this was a good go-home show for WrestlePalooza. It's going to be interesting how this Saturday will be for Thursday, our prediction show when it comes to where the weekend PLE and the pay-per-view. So it's gonna be exciting to see WrestlePalooza and also AEW show, because I know it's gonna be on HBO Max and everything else. So it's gonna be exciting pro wrestling week, because we also have a few things to talk about when it comes to for this Thursday show. So stay tuned. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show of Weebs of the Ring.
Yeah. All right, perfect, excellent. But what about you, Drop? What did you think of the night overall? And has this Monday Night Raw gotten you a little bit more excited for WrestlePalooza this weekend?
So I thought the Raw was pretty good tonight. I am looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening next with a mixed tag match. That's definitely something I'm very intrigued to see. That's probably the most anticipated match on the card for me. Obviously, we have SmackDown to look forward to see what else is going to be happening there in our prediction show for this upcoming Thursday. So we'll be able to get more in depth with our discussion there in terms of, what's going on next with that. Curious to see where the Bayley things are going to go. I am intrigued about that. And of course, excited for the Io and Stephanie match. That's probably my second thing that I'm excited about the most here, but yeah, those are basically my thoughts on Raw.
Word. All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and ignorant children of the aisles, we have reached the end of the show. That's basically it. That's all I got for everybody. So, thank you, of course, for joining us with this lovely Monday edition of Monday Night Raw's Weebs the Ring coverage of the show and all that. Again, we've got our prediction show coming out Thursday, SmackDown coverage, WrestlePalooza coverage. After the shows go off the air, we'll be here, we'll be live, we'll be talking about all of that stuff. But of course, if you wanted to check out anything else that we have to do, say, or feel, we got tons, and I mean tons of social media accounts, many handles, many links. Unfortunately, much like Zoro from One Piece, I don't know where they are, or I don't know where to go to find them. But luckily, we have a navigator here who is known as the legend, the Vash, to help us figure out where those are. So, Vash, where can everybody find us on the lovely social medias?
But chat, like I said, for the chief of content of Triple H, I'm your chief of content for the branch for the company of Animal We Studio. We here as your producers, myself, Walkers, and Drop. We here are producing Weebs of the Ring, like you guys are watching every Mondays and Fridays, the after shows for Raw and SmackDown. We also have, like you said, the Grappling of the Week is our weekly show, our pro wrestling news coverage, and our prediction show. So go check that every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. EST. And as well, we have our Off the Binge show that comes out 10 a.m. EST on YouTube under the Animal Studio main channel. The Tuesday show, the Emily podcast at 10 a.m. Both shows also come out at 5 a.m. EST on the audio feed. So go check that out. And we're soon coming to be relaunching Sean and Ronan. So stay tuned for our manga podcast as well. That'll be hosted by Drop, and also me and Walkers will be included on that show. So stay tuned. If you guys enjoy the content, check out the hashtags and the handles of Animal Studio and Weebs of the Ring. Go check us out on all social media, TikTok, IG, and Twitter/X. We appreciate all the follows. And also, if you're on Blue Sky, the Weebs of the Ring is on Blue Sky as well. If you were there to follow us and you want to say hi to us if you're there on the social media. If not, we appreciate everyone checking out our YouTube shorts, our content on social media, our podcast. Share this episode. Check out the audio feed of the Weebs of the Ring as well. Some of the audio feed has been catching up as well. Some are already scheduled for the coming weeks. So go check if you want to check back some of our old shows. We appreciate the support. Other than that, we appreciate you for checking the plugs. We appreciate checking the show of Weebs of the Ring and the audio feed as well.
Good job plugging in those outlets for everybody, so now they can see where they can go to follow us and all that. See, I'm good at some of this stuff. Sometimes, not all the time, but yeah, that's besides the point. But hey, thank you everybody so much for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash just said? We are known as Weebs of the Ring on all social media platforms, and also be sure to use that hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us before, during, or after these shows. And it's a great way, an awesome way, a fantastical way for you to give us feedback. Because, hey, we're nothing without you guys tuning in, and we love to continue to up our game no matter what we're trying to do. Because, hey, we're going to always strive to be better than we were yesterday. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Animal We Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no strength or enemies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a lovely evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you on Thursday for our prediction show for WrestlePalooza.